Okay, so welcome back to Unreal Engine Indie, and this is just a quick update. I put together a GitHub account for Unreal Engine Indie, and the Wukong project is up here. So I've committed the code up to the recent part 4, and today's video will be up there as well. So when you go to the Wukong, Unreal Engine Indie Wukong project, it's all public, anybody can see it. You will see all the files here. So the best thing about this is if you come through any errors, you can look through the code and double check. Also, if I forget to tell you about any header files, make sure you double check and make sure you have all the correct header files. Because sometimes I'm using Writer and it automatically fills it in for me and I might forget to tell you about it. But each video, like part 4 that I put up last night, when you check out the code, it's all here. Each part of the video is going to have its own branch. And then I'm going to merge all of that code into the main branch. So that's, as far as for the updates, that is what I have. So for today, let's take a look at what we're going to be doing today. So when you click start, we're going to get Wukong animated. As you can see here, Wukong is in idle position. When you move forward, plays running animation, move backwards, plays animation. And you can turn around. We have strafing is not working. That will be in the next video. So that's what we're going to be working on right now, is animating a Wukong. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is we need to create an Anim instance. So when you go into the C++ class, you want to go into Wukong. You want to go into public. You want to go to character. You want to right click, new C++ class. Now you want to click on all classes. Make sure you click on all classes and you want to type in Anim instance. When you type in Anim instance, you make sure that it's the Anim instance one right here. This is the correct one, not control rig, Anim instance. And you can always check it by going down here, selected class, Anim instance, selected class source, Anim instance.h. So we know we have the right one. And you click next. Double check to make sure it's in Wukong public character. Then you go here, Anim instance, and we are just going to call this Wukong Anim instance. Create class. So Wukong character H, close that out. Wukong character CPP, close that out. So we have Wukong Anim instance.h, Wukong Anim instance.cpp. So we're going to come in here and create a public. Now inside public, we are going to create 2 functions. Now, let's see, 2 functions, update, animation properties, and it's going to be a float, and we're going to be passing in delta time for this. So this is used in animation blueprints. Now we have to create another one. It's a virtual void native initialize animation, and that's going to be an override. Virtual void native initialize animation. And this one, we can initialize our variables and be able to use them in blueprints. And I got this update animations from the guy Stephen Ulibarri from his course, and I really liked how he did this, so that's why I'm showing you, because it's pretty good. Now we also are going to have to declare a class, so we're going to have to go to declarations, class a Wukong character, and then you come down here to the private section, create a private section, and do a Wukong character, and it's going to be a pointer. It's going to be called Wukong character. We are going to be doing a U property, and U property is, okay, I'm back. I had to plug in my wireless mouse. It just died. So, visible anywhere, blueprint read only, and we're going to put this in a category of movement. And because it's in the private access section, we do meta equals allow private access equals true. And basically what we are doing here is create a variable to have a reference to the Wukong class. So we create a variable to have a reference to Wukong character. Now, within the Anim instance blueprint, we're going to have access to the speed. So, we need speed of Wukong. Speed of Wukong. This is going to be a float, and it's going to be called speed. Now, we do a U property. Actually, we're just going to copy this up here. Copy and paste. Save. Okay, so in the header file, we did a declaration of a Wukong character, and we created void update animation properties. It's used in animation blueprints, and it acts like the tick function, but it's for Anim instance. And we can initialize our variables and be able to use them in blueprints. So we do have to do a virtual void native initialize animation override. This acts like the begin play. So in the private section, we created a Wukong character, the declaration with pointer to Wukong character. It's going to be visible anywhere, blueprint, read-only, category, movement. And of course, we have to create float speed. Now, we need to create these. So generate definition. Go back to the header. Native initialize. I like how Visual Studio doesn't throw you in here right away, which I guess is good or bad. So, okay, so we're in update animation properties. The first thing we need to do is the Wukong character. We need to check to see, make sure it's not null. So we do Wukong character equals null pointer, and if it's null, we need to cast to it. So we do cast a Wukong character, and we need to do try get pawn owner. Now, so what that does is it checks it basically every tick. And if the Wukong character does not exist, we will go ahead and cast to it. and then we check to see if a Wukong character. So basically this here, if Wukong character equals null, we cast to it. So basically when you're doing blueprints and you do is valid, same thing. So here we need to get speed of a Wukong from velocity. F vector, we are going to do velocity. And we're going to do Wukong character get velocity. And we're just going to initialize this with Wukong character get velocity. There are two ways to initialize. You can do this, or you can do it the way we just did it with the curly brackets. Now velocity, we do the Z, we do not need, so we're just going to go ahead and do 0. Now we need the speed, because the speed variable we created in the header file, we need to get size. So we do velocity.size. So this is going to get the speed that we are traveling at. So down in native initialize animation, what we need to do, because basically right here, if we go back to the header file, we create a variable to have a reference to Wukong character. So we created a Wukong character. Of course, it's a pointer. And up here, if Wukong character equals null pointer, then we cast to it. But native initialize animation, so basically in the begin play, we need to create a reference to it. So we need to do Wukong character cast, basically same thing up here. So just copy and paste. So we are just going to create reference X like begin play create reference to Wukong character. And this one, let's see, acts like tick for animations. And we are going to get speed. Okay, so one of the most important things right now is to make sure you have include character or Wukong character.h, because if you do not have that include file and you write all this, you are going to get errors. So if we hover over this error, it says try a Wukong character is incomplete. The reason it's incomplete is because we need to include the header file. So once you include the header file, then we are good to go. We can go ahead and compile this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here and we're going to do a hot reload. Live coding succeeded. So now what we need to do is, since we've created the Anim instance class right here, Wukong Anim instance, we need to actually use it. So let's go in here to character. Now let's is called Wukong Anim instance. So let's go back in here to character, right click, animation, animation blueprint. So right click, go to animation and do animation blueprint. And you will get this pop-up. And of course, if you have more skeletons, it'll show, but right now we just have one. So go ahead and click your skeleton. And this is very important. It says parent class, Anim instance. We want to go to Wukong Anim instance. Make sure it's Wukong Anim instance. Parent class Wukong Anim instance. Create. And this will be called Wukong Anim BP. So go ahead and double click on that. That will open up. However, it opened up like that, which I'm going to jump into Editor Preferences, go to Open in Main Window. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and reopen this. Okay. So we have a Wukong Anim blueprint. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go into my blueprint class here, open full blueprint editor, and what I want to do is go to mesh. Right here on the right hand side it says animation mode, use animation blueprint, animation class. Type in Wukong and make sure you use the Wukong Anim blueprint. Make sure you use the blueprint one. Going to compile, save. And right here now we have a Anim instance. So we can just come in here, and what we want to do is first I'm going to create a state machine. Add new state machine. I'm going to rename this to locomotion. And what I'm going to do is slot, default slot. I know I don't need to do this right now, but whenever we start working with montages, sometimes I do a montage and I wonder why it's not working. Well, it's because I haven't set the slot. So I just come in here and create it, and later on we'll be creating our own default slots. So double click on locomotion. This is probably familiar to you if you have already done blueprints. Go ahead and add a state. We're going to call this idle run. And we go ahead and connect to it, and we double click. Now you can just come in here and click on idle, get this, compile it, save it. As you can see, it's animated. You can jump back in, click play, and it's animated. That's just because it's going right through here. So we want to close this out. Now, what we need to do is go back into the Anim graph before I forget this. So everything's working. Let's go to event graph. If you do not see it up here, go down to the left and double click on event graph. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Close that out. If you do not see event graph, come down here, double click on event graph, and it'll open up. As you can see here, it opens up. And you can double click on Anim graph as well. So go to your Anim graph, right click, go to update if you right click, update animation properties, it's not showing up. So we come back here into the code. So update animation properties, it's not showing up, and the reason why it's not showing up is because we need to create a U function and make sure it's blueprint callable. So go ahead and save it. If you do not make it blueprint callable, it's not going to show up. So create a U function blueprint callable. Whenever you create a function and you're trying to use it within blueprints, it needs to be blueprint callable. So let's go ahead and jump back into here. We'll just go ahead and do a hot reload and let's see if it shows up. If it doesn't show up on a hot reload, we need to shut it down and rerun it. Okay, so as you can see here, call function update animation properties. And we just want to plug that in, and delta time X, plug it into delta time. Go ahead and compile and save. So update animation properties is the function we created, and we had put the U function in there to make it blueprint callable. So now that we have that, we can go back into the Anim graph here, and we have idle run. So we need something here, and what we need is a blend space. So let's come inside here. We want to right click, go to animation, blend space. Make sure it's just regular blend space, not 1D. Choose Wukong skeleton. We call this Wukong BS for blend space. We're going to go ahead and open that up. And inside here on horizontal and vertical, we just need the offset y'all, which we have not done yet, but that's going to be negative 80 and 180. So we come down here to speed, or vertical axis, we call this speed. And we are going to call this 600. That's right, call it 600. So grid divisions 4. We're not going to be doing... So I'm just going to go ahead and do 2. Now, I know I said I was going to do 8-way blend spaces. However, the animations for Wukong, we don't have 8-way animations for the blend spaces. So the 8-way blend spaces I'm going to show you, but it's going to be in another video. So, and because I don't have any free assets that have 8-way blend spaces, but I want to show it to people in case you've purchased an animation pack and you want to use 8-way animation and you need to know how. So I will do that in a next video. So now that we have this, we can just come in here and we search for idle. And we have idle here. So we're just going to click that, drag it down here, and take another one, click it, drag it down, and we're just going to do this for the whole bottom. Okay, so I don't think we have any walk. We've come in and type in jog. So if you type in jog, we are looking for jog forward. We have a jog forward. Jog underscore FWD. You want to put that up at the top. And then if you're working on your blend spaces and you see this right here, this red line, grab one of these and then just drag it all the way down to the bottom and it goes away. So now we need a jog left. Where is the jog left? There we go. We have jog left. I want to take that, put that one up here. And we need a jog right. We have a jog right. Drag it, put that one up there. These right here need to be jog backwards. Jog backwards. Jog backwards. So down at the bottom, we searched for idle. We used all the idle down below. This one right here is jog FWD. And then we did jog underscore left, jog underscore right, and then we did jog underscore BWD on both sides. Now, this little green X right here, if you hold down Control, if you hold down Control and you move it around as you're holding down Control, it will animate. So we have here, as you can see, it goes left. If you go right in between, it kind of goes in between. And then we start going backwards. And you just check make sure all the animations are correct. Now, we just go ahead and click Save. Now we jump back in here into the Wukong Anim BP. As you can see, the Wukong BS showed up. We take that and we drag it over and we drop it in. And we have offset yaw. We have not created that yet. We have speed. The speed we have created because if you jump back into Wukong Anim instance header, we have here float speed, visible anywhere, blueprint read-only category movements. So if we jump back in here, we need speed. So if you right-click and you type in speed, and you go down to the bottom, you see the category movement, and you see the speed variable. And you go ahead and plug that into speed, and you plug this right in, compile, and save. So now we have a blend space created. Of course, next video I'm going to show you how to do an 8-way blend space with animation packs that you may have purchased that have them. So I'll show them in the next video. So let's go to test map and click play, and Wukong's animated. Go ahead and run around. Now Wukong is animated. Of course, if you go left and right, we don't have the offset set up yet. So right here are the offset yaw. We need to have that set up, and I'm going to do that in the next video as well. That will probably be out in 2 to 3 days. I want to do a quick video. Well, let me do the 8-way blend space video after we do the offset yaw. That's probably the best thing to do. So the next video is going to be the offset yaw. So there you go. You have your Anim instance in C++. If this is not working, make sure that the Wukong Anim blueprint that you've created, hover over it. And if you look in there, you'll see parent class. It says Wukong.Wukong Anim instance. Make sure that that is showing correct. If the parent class just says Anim instance, that's incorrect. It needs to be the Wukong Anim instance. And also make sure if it's not working, let's say you've created everything and it's still not working, then what you want to do is come in here, go to mesh, and double check animation mode and animation class. Make sure the animation class is Wukong Anim BP for blueprint. Because if you come in here and you type in Wukong, the Wukong Anim instance will show up, also some other ones, but make sure it's Wukong Anim blueprint. And I still have made that mistake before. So go ahead. Okay, so that's all I have for the video. We have Wukong that is animated, and of course the animations need to be done a little bit better. It needs to be worked on. So this project is, I'm not going to polish the game as far as like animations and things like that. I just wanted to do a project to show people how to work with Unreal Engine blueprints in C++. So that's all I have. Make sure you like and subscribe, share the video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.